Bobulinski, thank you for coming. It's been 2 years since we've sat across from each other. Didn't expect to have a second interview with you. I'm grateful that we're able to. Thank you. So when we spoke before, you described what you believed were Hunter Biden and the Biden family's effectively offenses against the United States, in ways that their business practices had undermined U.S. national security. But there was also an offense against you. What seemed like fraud. And now, 2 years later, we have, I think, a pretty hard example of what that looked like. So if you wouldn't mind explaining to us, this is, I think, going back to the spring and summer of 2017, Sinohawk Holdings.
Okay.
What was that?
So Sinohawk Holdings was a Delaware LLC, which was effectively a partnership between the Biden family, myself, Rob Walker and James Gilliar, and a Chinese large company called CEFC, which turned out to effectively be the capitalistic arm of, President Xi's One Belt, One Road.
Yes.
And so Sinohawk Holdings was the entity that Chairman Yi, who was the chairman of CEFC, and an entity called Hudson West 4 owned 50% of Sinohawk Holdings, and an entity that represented the Biden family, myself, James Gilliar, and Rob Walker, called Oneida Holdings, owned the other 50% of that entity.
So at the beginning of this deal, the Chinese were supposed to send Sinohawk money. How much?
Yeah, so actually, I'm glad you asked the question, because a lot of discussion has been about the $10 million the Chinese were supposed to fund into Sinohawk Holdings. $5 million of that was representing their 50%, and the $5 million, they would call it a loan to the Biden family, but effectively it was a loan to Oneida Holdings to represent the original operating capital. And that was just operating capital. That Sinohawk Holdings was set up to effectively deploy billions of dollars that CFC was claiming, and rightfully believable because they were doing it around the world, to invest via Sinohawk in infrastructure projects, technology companies, investment banks, financial institutions, both here in the U.S. and around the world.
So this is the limited liability company agreement of Sinohawk Holdings. And it says here, May 2017. What is this?
So that's actually a very intense legal document that's drafted and details how Sinohawk Holdings will operate. Who are the partners involved in the entity. It basically dictates how the business, who sits on the board of it, who will run it day to day. I was the CEO of Sinohawk Holdings, and I was vested with certain rights and authorities and stuff like that, and how you would distribute profits to the partners and stuff. So a very detailed document and fully executed. It's important because, when I came out in October 2020, a lot of people argued, well, that deal never happened. That deal 100% happened. That Sinohawk document that you're holding was fully executed, both by Jim Biden, Hunter Biden, myself, James Gilliar, Rob Walker, and then on the Chinese side, Hudson West 4 executed the document. So it was a fully operating business.
So here's a very strange document, and I hope you can explain it. This is a limited liability company agreement of BYZ Holdings, LLC. And this is from August 2nd of 2017, 3 months later. The reason this is strange is this document is identical, down to the serial numbers on the bottom of the page, to this document, the Sinohawk Holdings agreement, except it's got a different company name.
Yeah.
What is this?
So, interesting. So that document is exactly the same document as Sinohawk Holdings, LLC. And it appears that Hunter Biden, Jim Biden, and the Biden family literally copied the same document down to typos, as you said, the serial number, and they removed Oneida Holdings, which was the Delaware LLC that represented Jim Biden, Hunter Biden, myself, Rob Walker, and James Gilliar, and Hunter and his lawyer, George Maziers, replaced it with Owasco, which was Hunter Biden's law firm or business that he operated. So he effectively swapped out an entity that he owned 20% of to a business that he owned 100% of, which is fraud.
So why would he do that?
a lot of detail. We don't, have too much
I understand,
time,
but basically,
at a high level in July 2017, the Chinese CFC had not funded the $10 million. I was extremely frustrated. The Bidens claimed or presented to be frustrated. I got calls from Jim Biden. He was ready to call the Chinese directly and say the Biden family's pulling out of a deal, all well documented in text messages, WhatsApp, and emails. And I didn't know this at the time, but apparently around that same time, Hunter Biden and his lawyers basically removed Oneida, put Owasco, his law firm, in that, and replaced that in that document, getting prepared to basically divert that money into BYZ Holdings.
So they were shafting you without your knowledge, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's called fraud, yeah.
And this is, I mean, I don't see any other explanation for this, do you?
I'm sure you can reach out to the Biden family and get comment from them.
They're not returning our calls right now. Okay, so this is, just this alone seems to me enough to spur a criminal investigation by the FBI into what apparently is fraud. The FBI had the contents of the laptop. They've had it for years now. Has there been an FBI investigation into this, and what's the outcome of it? Do you know?
I'm not aware of them focusing on those specific facts. Everything that I've been privy or briefed on is they're focusing on more legacy tax stuff, FARA stuff. They should be looking into that.
But Hunter Biden has not been indicted for this.
I'm not aware of that. He ultimately, if you actually want to get into more detail, they ultimately evolved from using BYZ Holdings to then just going directly into an entity called Hudson West 3, and that's where he received the, I think, over $5 million across 2017 and 2018, of which he took a portion and paid on a monthly basis to his uncle, Jim Biden, and I think Jim's wife, Sarah, was involved. So,
how much did Hunter expect to make from his business dealings with the Chinese?
Yeah, so not only Hunter, I wasn't interested. They had to work on me for years to sort of, call it come off the bench and get involved here. In the spring of 2017, I expected CFC was going to deploy billions of dollars through Sinohawk, and I was focused on taking those billions of dollars and making a return on it. And I expected to make hundreds of millions of dollars. I think the Bidens probably thought they were going to make billions of dollars.
How much do you think Hunter, in the end, got from diverting this money? Do you think he received the money?
So he definitely received the money. I mean, the bank statements have been made public. He received over $5 million, and then I think an incremental $1 million in a legal consulting fee to represent Patrick Ho, which is a story in itself.
So this seems very cut and dried.
Black and white.
Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel to catch our nightly opens, stories that are changing the world and changing your life. From Tucker Carlson Tonight.